If you're wondering what game development is like in college, this video is for you. Me and LeFluff will be having a discussion about our experience, what it was like, and if you should do it or not. I'll be speaking about my perspective as a student and also a little bit more about my teaching experience at the same exact college. Just to make everything clear, I've attended college in 2012 in Canada and LeFluff attended college in 2015 in the US. So this will be a podcast kind of video, which is why we're running gameplay in the background and also because we look dumb when we speak to a microphone. Okay, if at any time during this discussion you find the information helpful, make sure you upvote the video. This will let us know if you want to hear more about this or many other experiences that we had in the game industry. Also, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. We will be monitoring them very closely. And that's enough for the intro. Let's just jump right into the discussion. I'd like to lay down the topic we'll be covering. We'll be covering some big points. The first one being, what have we actually done? Like, what were the courses like that we attended? I've attended one in Quebec. I know LeFluff has attended one in North Carolina. So two different countries. Things are a little bit different. What we've done before reaching college. I'm going to start by speaking about the course I've attended. It was a one-year course. Here we call that a AEC, Attestation of Education, something like that. It's in French. And it's a speed course where it's a 3 semester mashed up in 1 year. So you have the 2 normal semester and also 1 in the summer. And everything is super compressed. So by the end of that year, you're supposed to be ready to work in a studio. It is in Quebec City. It is French based, so we speak French over there. But you know, we use software in English, and we use the normal English terms in the whole video game industry. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for my course. How was your course? What's the specific of your course?
Well, mine was 2 years, and it's literally about game development. So there's there's coding, there's 3D modeling. It's the whole game development thing.
Okay, so you're saying that you have more than one specific field, right?
Yeah, it's not special. What is it called? Specialist? It's not specialist based. It's more of like you graduate, you're kind of more like a generalist.
Okay, something I didn't mention in my course is that mine was all about programming and video game integration, which we still did 3D modeling, we still did animation, we did all of that because we needed to learn how to integrate it in video games. But really at the base, at the core, we had to learn how to program, and that's what we were evaluated on. So you're saying that your course was more generalist based, so you had to pick up both programming and also artist stuff.
Yeah.
And which one do you like the most?
Of course, art. Hello.
Art. So you're an artist that was forced to learn
coding.
Programming. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you know that when you got into the course, did you know that you had to do some coding?
Well, I read the catalog, so of course I do what I'm getting into. But for me, it's kind of more of like a good thing because before I attended college, I have no clue what I'm gonna do. I know I want to do something art-based, but at the same time, I want to see how coding is like. So I was pretty much exposed to that, even web development at some point. But of course, I chose art because I like 3D modeling and stuff. But at the same time, I have to code too and learn coding while I'm doing 3D modeling, which is kind of annoying in a way, but...
Let me ask you this though: Have you picked up anything coding wise? Do you remember anything you've done in the coding world? Because the way you speak right now, your mind was kind of set on being an artist right off the get-go. So what happened to your programming class? You just did them because you had to do them to be rated, to be graded?
I have to do it, of course, to graduate. But at the same time, I just did enough to get an A. I read it, I know what to do. But at the same time, after I'm done with the course, I pretty much forget everything because I'm focused on 3D modeling and learning ZBrush, Maya, Blender, anything that's doing art, basically.
Right, okay. Well, okay, so that was our course. Let's talk a bit about the experience you've had before going to college. Did you before going to college, did you learn anything online or...
Yes, I was following this artist, I think she's called Sakimi-chan on Patreon. Originally, I want to be a digital artist, but I didn't know that there's this thing called ZBrush where I can sculpt. That was amazing, so I pretty much stick to that the moment I learned that. But yeah, I was following digital artist thing.
Just following, did you pick up any course? Did you do any projects you could show?
They're very old. It's like 2015.
Very old, 2015. That's
Yeah,
not so long ago.
that was 2 years ago.
Right.
And
Okay.
I was using Corel Painter. It's not even Photoshop.
Okay. Okay. So it's not the tool of the industry right now.
Corel Painter?
I don't know. I don't know what it is actually. I have no clue.
It was popular then. It was just like release, but at the same time, ZBrush is Bay. So.
Okay. Nice. On my end here, programming wise, I opened up Unity, since it came out maybe 2 years before I went to classes, and I already knew how to make C# code. I already had a good code base. That's it actually. Yeah, I had a good background in code, and I went into the college knowing that we were gonna start from scratch again. But I had the edge over there, so that was pretty cool. And I think that's pretty much it. That was my experience before, what I've done to get there. Also, playing a lot of video game did help me quite a lot just to pick up the pace in the classes super fast, because you have the terms, you have the terminology, you have the words, you know what they mean because you play the games. So, of course, you don't go there if you don't play games. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the perception that you had of the class before joining. If it's not you, maybe your parent, what did they think about it? And, like, how does it feel to just join a game design course?
I mean, it was fun for me, but my parents are Asian. They literally want me to be a nurse, an architecture, or a doctor, or a lawyer of some sort. Now, me joining in a game development, they're like, what are you doing with your life? Why this? This doesn't make any sense. Are you even gonna make money out of this? Something like that.
Oh boy. Yeah, on my end, I don't think they complained too much. I had to move out of the region to actually go to the college, so they were quite happy about that. I guess every parent likes to see their kid go away. Is that how it works, or was that just for me?
My mom is more of like a security thing. If you're not like studying a job that's like really making money and your future is not secure, well, you know how Asians are like.
Yeah. Well, mine was easier, I must say. And the perception I had of it is when I got into that course, I actually attended a what is it? It's called the étudiant un jour, a student for one day. You can just join the course in the middle, just attend one day of that course. I did that before going in, and they totally sold it to me. So they were showing video game stuff, they were showing how to use engines, and that was quite cool. So I had a really good perception of the course when I joined. I expected to learn how to make MMOs and AAA game by myself. Obviously, like every person that gets into that kind of course, was greatly disappointed. But that's on me, I think. And that's the perception I had. Now let's talk a little bit about the schoolwork. How much work did you have to do? Were you overloaded? Could you handle having a job on the side? Could you live, see friends, and do stuff?
I work part-time while I'm doing school stuff. So I attended school in the morning, and I have a part-time job after that. And of course, I do schoolwork, bunch of stuff, but they're kind of really easy to do, and I enjoy what I'm doing. So time flies by really fast, but at the same time, the motivation to finish things, because when I'm already done with my projects and I have to deal with classmates that aren't, it's slowing down the whole class. So
yeah, we're gonna talk about slowing down the whole class again, because we did have that same problem. But before that, I'd like to explain the schoolwork on my end. Since it was compressed into 1 year, there was no option for me to have a side job. There was no option to do anything really, because you would literally go into class and receive a project to do every single class. Whether it would be 3D modeling, you'd have to like do a TIE fighter, and you had no clue how to open 3ds Max at the time, but you had to create a TIE fighter. So a lot of research was spent after the school, just learning those software on your own. Of course, you had the teacher teaching you the basis, but you had a lot of work to do when you got home, and that didn't stop for the whole year. Like you had like I think 2 weeks of vacation at one point, but that's it. That's like in between the I think it's the fall semester and also the summer semester. That doesn't make any sense, does it? The summer break, basically, you had 2 weeks of vacation. That's the only place where we could actually relax, because the rest of the year, like I mentioned, is compressed. So the way that this course worked basically is that you had different kind of a group that were joining at different times. So during the fall semester, you could have a group starting on term 1, and you could have another group starting in the spring semester. So you could have a group on term 1 in fall, another one in spring. And since it is a 3 terms course, sometimes your third term or your second term would end up in the summer term. Is that how you say it? I guess, right. And the summer term was only 12 weeks instead of being 15, so depending on which time you join, one of your terms is going to be shorter. It's going to be either the second one or the third one. And you mean you have less weeks to do all the works that they ask you. You have 3 less weeks in your whole term to do the same work that they ask you. So it was really compressed and you don't really have the time. And they told us when we joined, they said something like you can't really have a job at the same time because you'll need to work on this a good 12 hours a day and you won't have the energy to do anything afterward, which was true. But luckily for me, I actually left region, so I didn't have anybody to speak to. I just joined town. Like I had no one I really knew here, so I could put my whole focus in it. So that was pretty cool. But something I'd like to mention before we go any further is when I joined my course, we were a total of 18 people in there. And on the third semester, with the same exact group, because it's the same group following throughout the course, the same group, we were about 6 or 8, so half of the student dropped. And most of it was like people being left behind, I guess, simply because myself, I was fine with that. Like I had a background already, so I was able to learn the very beginning. Like we were able to skip through the initial step really fast, and there was also other people with background, so all of us that had background before, we managed to stay in, and some people that didn't have background also managed to stay in, but they had to work quite a lot to get that. So the course was really compressed, is what I'm trying to say. And if they didn't have any background, they would have been left behind and thrown out. Of course, no teacher wants to leave any student behind, but you have a plan that you have to fit in between a certain amount of time, and if you don't reach that, then you're not considered as successful, right? So that was it on my classes and my schoolwork. A little bit insane, but yeah. So classes wise, what kind of classes do you have? You had web development, you mentioned. Then what else?
Well, I have to take prerequisite class, so of course I have to take other generalized class like English, literature, mathematics, like calculus. Jesus Christ. What else? A bunch of art one where I need to kind of like draw traditionally with paper and pen.
Ooh.
Figure drawing. What else? See, my courses are more of like experimental because we're like the first batch and it's not really like game development is not really that popular when I started. Like some of the people that attend the class have no clue what they're getting into. At one point I've even have a classmate that she's like what 60 years old and she's really being left behind in Photoshop because she has no clue what she's doing and she thought she was doing something else, and I think by the end she kind of like dropped out because she was being left behind like really bad.
Okay, so it is definitely something you need to understand before you get into. Classes wise, I had mostly programming. I also had modeling, artistic stuff. I've touched a little bit of everything. Like we did go into the traditional design, not pen and paper, but like history. So they teach us about like history, the whole Disney animation, Stretch and Squatch. We went through all of that, but to be honest, we forgot everything in the second term and then forgot everything in the third term. I don't remember anything of what I did. Apparently I know how to rig and I know how to animate according to that course. And I did for that duration of that course to get my project done. But right now, if you ask me to rig, I'm gonna have to watch a bunch of tutorial. And also, they teach us how to rig using 3ds Max, and I guess that's not really up to date so much anymore. Maybe you can still. Well, I mean, you can still do your rigs, but if you want to teach, like, if I want to learn something online, I'm gonna have to go through Blender because Blender is free and is awesome.
Well, there's Maya too.
Yeah, there's Maya, but I don't want to have to pay for it. Really expensive. Let's talk a little bit about the quality of teaching, and that's something I'd like to touch on a little bit more after as well.
So my teachers, the teachers that I've dealt with, mostly mostly they're really good at jump starting things. Like say when you're just starting like a software to learn it, they're going to explain it to you so you can understand it and be good at it. But at the same time, they're not going to be in depth about it. Because most of the teachers that I have, they never kind of worked in the industry. They are more of like fresh graduate of like a 4-year school in what's that school in, is it Kai's University? No. What?
Full Sail?
No.
No.
They're not online. That art college somewhere. It's really.
I have no clue.
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah. So one of the teachers there are fresh graduate of SCAD, and he does local art, stuff like that. Maybe some contracts here and there, but I don't think he ever actually worked on a studio.
So it's quite funny that you bring up the fact that some of the teacher, they were fresh graduate, but also offline you told me that some of them are good, right? Some of them worked at DreamWorks, some of them worked with Riot Games, so you didn't have like only fresh graduate for teaching, right?
There's one actually. I think he moved from California. He came from there. He was working at DreamWorks or something. And one of the coordinators in her school managed to snatch him and teach him for us. But at the same time, he's not a teacher, so you can expect him to be really great at teaching, right? Because he works at studios, but how can you expect a person to be constructive and structure on the way he teach if he's
right?
never
Maybe
taught?
he's not a master of structure. That's what you're.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's really funny that you bring it up because we had none of real teacher. We had nobody with a teaching background at our place. Like, if I just remember, maybe one was teaching at university. But other than that, nobody had any teaching background, but they were all working in the industry. So I remember having a guy, and that was the weird first class I've had. There was a guy drinking Pepsi in front of me, and he was I believe a game designer at Ubisoft. He stood there for only 1 week before he had to move away. He got shipped somewhere in a remote studio for Ubisoft. But I remember him trying to teach us about variables and in programming. And he was in front of the class drinking Pepsi, and he would just say, variables are like cats that you put in boxes. Cats are the values and boxes are the spaces of memory. So that was just like a weird moment I've had, just like wondering if I took the right class or not. But the point is, those people, they don't have really a teaching background, but even though they don't, they're really helpful. They really do understand what they're talking about because they're working directly in it. And that's also a big sales point of the course when I joined. They kept mentioning that everybody that teaches are in the industry, and that is something true. However, if you've been following for a while, you might know that I've also been teaching at a game college as well. In fact, I teach at the same exact college that I learned from about 2 years after. So technically, I could be one of those fresh graduate that you had as a teacher. So we're just gonna say this out there. Depending on which course you take, you might have a good loot box of teachers or a bad loot box of teacher. It really depends on your luck at that point, and if the teacher wants to teach, because he doesn't have any teaching background. I think the biggest point, actually, I think that the best way to rate a teacher, and that has always been how I think about teachers past high school, is were they able to transfer to you some kind of passion, were they able to hype you up about a topic, even though that topic sucks? Mm-hmm. I remember having a religion teacher that hyped me up about religion, even though I don't Jesus so much.
Really?
Yeah, he was really.
Who was that?
He played music and he made us draw during the whole time.
What kind of
Every
music?
classes.
Like Ave Maria?
No, just pop music in the class. He had a nice stereo as well. That was really cool.
Pop music.
Anyway, that was like one of my best teacher and a topic I don't really care about so much. But back on the topic, what are you exactly paying for when you're joining a course? By the way, how much was your tuition to get in there?
It was for 3-hour credits. It's how much? Like $400, and you have to take 4. And I usually take 5 because I want to graduate really early. So that's like over thousands.
USD, right?
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to buy books because, like I'm saying, I'm taking maths and English too.
So mine was about $3,200 a term, and I had to 3 terms, so that's about 10K at the end of the year. The only reason it's so high is because it was a private course in a private college. Might also be why we only had 16 people join up at first.
16.
16 people and only 7 or 6 graduated. I don't know if the 7th one graduated. We never knew. He never told us.
That's about the same as mine. Students don't attend classes anymore or they skip because they're so late.
See, I could not afford to skip it with that price. Everything is still unknown right now.
Well, see, there's this thing in the US they call FAFSA, where usually the government pays for your tuition, and some students just kind of like waste it like that so that they could just attend, but at the same time they drop. So just, should I say that?
Yeah, sure.
So basically they attend class, right? And they get their government money back, or what's left of it, and they just drop off that class to get the rest. So that's basically what they do.
No, shitty people are everywhere. I think we had something like that too in high school.
Yes, but at the same time, sometimes they kind of pick it up and attend, but they are so late that they are holding the whole class, which is really sucky for me because I'm all the way up ahead.
Well, see, I had a really, like, the teacher at my place were really cool because those people that were late and, like, kept staying late and, like, kept staying behind eventually just got dropped out. Like, they left on their own. The teacher managed to get them out by just teaching more and more on top of that. So when they see the stack of things they have to learn, they just abandon. So that's pretty cool. Or not, depending on which side you are on. So what exactly are we paying for? Where is that money going? Going into paying the teachers, paying the labs?
The teachers are getting paid per hour by the school, and the tuition, I guess, that I'm using goes on the computers that I'm using, and the license and keys for the software, because every time there's a new software, the school pretty much add into it. Although sometimes they need to learn that software 2 weeks before starting a class, so there's that.
Right. Okay. So it's about the same thing here. I think the money's going to licenses, mostly for the Autodesk software, and also the labs. The labs were pretty cool. We had good PC, dual monitor. Just like the same kind of setup I would have at home back then. And yeah, and then the rest would actually pay the teacher since we're a private college. The college had to pay the teacher directly, so...
we had Macs.
You had Macs.
Yeah, there's giant Macs, and then later on they transferred to PC, like a custom build.
Macs.
Because Macs, yeah,
Yeah.
MAC Macs, Apple Macs.
Boy.
But they transferred to PC later on because of HTC Vive.
Oh, that's pretty cool though. They transferred to PC eventually, so they learned.
Yes, but it's
they learned
broken.
good.
Softwares don't. It's not installed. Like it's been like 2 weeks in the class, and the softwares aren't even there. So the teachers are basically teaching you ZBrush using Photoshop. That doesn't make sense.
Right, so that's a little bit of a mess though. It is like a growing. It's a new class out there, so not many, it's trying to make its proof right now, and it's using us as experiment.
Yes.
Yeah, using us as experiment is I think the way to put it. But what else could I say? Yeah, I think the money I paid to go there is actually not refunded, but like it's actually well spent because of the connection we've made there, and also the environment. What I think I'm actually paying for when I was there, like if I look back right now and I'm like, do I want to do this again? I would say yes, because I've paid for the environment, really. The learning environment you're in, all the people around you trying to do the exact same thing, it motivates you to do it, and you're stuck in you've been programmed to work 12 hours a day on this thing. You're gonna break your eyes, you're gonna like go depressed or something if you have family around. I don't know, but it's what it was, really, learning environment and just being motivated to do it every day. I know, like, there's the contest here, the Pixel Challenge I attend every year. It's 48 hours of straight development, and there's like about 200 people next to you trying to do the same thing. It's a game jam, basically. And I worked so much harder during those 48 hours that I would work in, say, 2 weeks here at home, being distracted by a cat.
I wish we had those. We never did.
Oh, game jams?
Yes.
Just attend one here. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a
See,
fun thing.
see, we never had those kinds of things in class, and every time there's a competition, you're.
Oh, that
with
was not in
people.
class. That's like a something the
there's-
city does.
Yeah, but what I mean is like there's no competition at all in class because I usually sit at the back and everybody that's good, and I plan on beating them by the end of semester.
You're
be
mean.
better than them.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there's not much competition, so I find one online, and I just
You could attend Game Jam online, but like what I'm saying is that
there's game jams online.
there is, but you're never gonna have the same environment as having so many people sweating next to you doing that kind of deal. Not saying that it's it smells good or anything. It's just like the environment having people doing the same thing with you.
Yes, but how can you be motivated when someone sitting next to you literally is eating potato chips?
You don't care about that. You know
and
you're gonna beat them.
using the mouse at the same time. The thing is, I don't have my station on one computer and just stay that the whole year. We rotate around, so I have to use those computers.
Oh boy, okay, yeah, we were lucky
No.
because we had our set station, and we would stay there for the whole term. So no, the people eating the potato chips.
Yes, potato chips, pizza, fuck. Oh my god.
Yeah, good thing we didn't have that here. Well, I mean, we did have those people eating and being loud during the class, and those people that have chips bag, but like the one that makes a lot of sound, and they just eat chips while the teacher is speaking.
Yeah,
We had that too, right? But at least we weren't swapping around computers. Let's talk about the other people as well, like other classmate. What would you say about the other classmates?
I mean, there are some that are good, but that's like when I was about to leave school, and I don't know them really well, but I see that they really work. But some of them learn way beforehand attending college. They learn on maybe Udemy or what is it, digital something?
YouTube is good too, I think.
Well, maybe
A digital
YouTube,
tutor,
but
it could
there's
be, right?
digital tutors, but I think it's named something else now. Plural site.
It can be any 3D software.
Yeah, but they learn
course,
from
whatever.
that first before attending college, and they look kind of sad because they
It's
have
slow
to pay
paced,
for
right?
they have to pay for a course that they already like know what to do because first you have to take basics.
See, that's exactly where my course differs from yours, because yours is like, if you learn something beforehand, you're losing your time. Mine is, if you didn't learn anything beforehand, you're gonna get passed. You're gonna get dropped out.
The thing is, I think it just depends on which school you attend. Mine just happens to be sucky, but there's tons of really great gaming schools out there where you can actually learn things like, is it Ganomon?
I don't know.
It's in California, but it's really great. But
I mean,
you
Full Sail
study-
University sounds nice. I haven't seen it.
don't know about that.
No.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
But Ganomon is really good. I mean, you attend it for 3 years. You don't get like a degree, a certificate, but at the same time, you get out with like a really great portfolio. Like you could literally apply to like, I don't know, Game of Thrones and get accepted. You doing VFX or modeling, whichever.
Right. Let's talk about that. Like, what kind of portfolio did you build while attending that school?
You graduate there a generalist, so they give you a last semester to basically build your portfolio, right? We have this course and it's called SGD portfolio, and you can build basically whatever you want, but at the same time you're building a website on top of that to put your portfolio. Like how, what? I mean, I'll build a website, yes, but I'm not gonna use that as my portfolio site.
Maybe if it looks good, I don't know. How's your web development skill now?
I forgot it.
You forgot it.
I forgot it, jeez. But yeah, I built a working functional website, but I didn't host it or anything because I found that ArtStation looks so much better. And why would I compete with ArtStation with this minuscule website of mine if there's ArtStation already?
Just to show that you did. I mean, at the
Yeah,
same
that's
time, you
to
don't
show.
show something sucky. So if you didn't want to put more time in it, I guess it's really not good to show. But this brings me to a topic of the class structure, like where the class, not the class, the course. Where is the course trying to take you? In my course, what they did at the beginning is just first semester they try to introduce you to everything. They try to introduce you to modeling, animation, programming, like very simple programming. You program on paper at first. You do algorithm on paper, and then you play around with really simple code, C++. And that's the first semester. Second semester is to push that a little bit further, like push everything that you learned before a little bit further. And the third one is all about making one project. Making that one project that's going to stand out, and there is like so many hours allowed to that class. Actually, there's two classes. There's one called project and one project art or something like that. And they both merge together. Sometimes it's the same teacher. And it's just you sitting there working on your project that you told the teacher at the beginning, I'm going to make this. And he said, yes, that makes sense. It's something doable according to your skill. I've been seeing you grow, blah, blah, blah. And that's all you do. Like you get assistance when you ask for it. You only have like the teacher standing there and giving you tips and giving you ideas, helping you fix bugs, giving you feedback.
Is that on your last project?
That was the last semester. Like last semester is all around that. There's some other classes around like advanced programming, but like most of the hour put in the last term is for you to work on your project that you're going to be showing around once you get out. So that's going to be in your portfolio. You're going to go see Ubisoft with it. You're going to go see Gearbox with it. And you're most likely going to get rejected, but hey, at least you have something to show now.
With the project, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a project made in Unity or Unreal Engine.
Oh.
And you have to make everything.
I'm model on mine. I didn't build a game.
Okay, so you ended up having... I mean, did you finish school? You mentioned
no,
you
I quit it. It's not worth it for me anymore.
So you didn't go through that last phase.
Yeah,
of
it's
building.
literally one semester left, and I could graduate. But at the same time, that's over 1K that you either can use to be stuck in there, or you could just use that on Udemy or something and get better classes.
So that's quite
specifically
funny.
For art, not for something else. Because my last semester is full of maths and English. That's not game development, yo.
You didn't want to do math or English?
No, hell no.
Okay, well,
no.
let the records show that she doesn't have a graduate certificate anymore. Not anymore. You never had
it. Would have been a degree because it
a
was
degree.
2 years.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know how they call it.
I can always continue it. I have 5 years, but at the same time, why?
Would you like to go pick it up? Like pick it up?
No.
If you had the chance?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather learn somewhere else. Like, I have a friend that, he's over 100,000 in debt now, but he attended a gaming school in Chicago, a university. Now that school is really good because they teach you in depth on things, like maybe generalized things on the first 2 years, and the next 2 years is more of like specialized thing if you want to do 3D modeling or coding or whichever. And he actually get a job. He worked at NetherRealms in, what is that game that they made? It's like a fighting game. It's new. They just released it.
I have no clue what you're talking about. What's the studio name again?
NetherRealms.
NetherRealms.
They make Mortal Kombat and those games. What is it called? It was new. He was trying to make me play it.
wait. Let me look it up while you keep talking about that.
NetherRealm. Injustice. Yeah, they make the Injustice thing.
Oh, okay.
He got a job on that, but see, before that though, he graduated the university. He had, I think, a year to work on his main portfolio, because, I mean,
those games look good. They really look good.
Yeah, he does the 3D art for it. I think, yeah, he did.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
But do you want to be 100K in debt?
I mean,
that's
too many years. That's too many years of school.
It is, but
for me, that's too many years of school. I would not want to do it. 1 was too much.
2 was, I don't know.
Would you do it again?
I told you no.
You told me, you didn't tell the people.
Well, I told you, boys, no.
And what did you, like, what makes you think, what makes you come up to that conclusion that you would not want to do it again?
Because I got everything else that I need from that. From that point, you already know the teachers and the extent of what they are going to teach and how they are going to teach the course. And at the same time, you know the last course that are left that you don't want to take, because I took the good ones first. I don't want to take the art, the game design thing, and the last, of course, the math. I don't want to go through that, yo. So.
Okay, well, I'm on a different spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it again, even though it was really expensive.
Yeah, because you got connections. I didn't.
Right, I got enough connections so I could teach.
Nothing.
I could teach in the same place 2 years after. That was something good. Really, what I think was really important for me, and the reason why I would go back is really just the environment. I think I mentioned that before. The environment, getting there every morning, and having people doing the same thing around you, not working the same game, but like Not
Same thing. They don't go on YouTube and watch frigging anime like my classmate does.
those one dropped out. That's the
Those
beauty.
ones stayed in my class.
See,
literally
you need
beside
better
me.
filters. You need better filters.
That's why I put earphones on.
No, you need better noob filters. So your teacher got to be more rough and
The
like make
teachers
them
don't
fail.
care. Like literally, the student could be just maybe beside the teachers, and the teachers don't care because by the end of the course, those teachers get rated, and if your rates are bad, you get fired. And of course, they kiss the student's ass, so they get good ratings and they get to keep their job.
That's your vision on thing. See,
That's exactly what it is.
okay, I'm gonna put a little asterisk here. I'm gonna teach. I'm not gonna teach. I'm gonna talk about my teaching experience because I was a teacher at the school.
Of course you are.
That I've attended, and I'm just gonna say that out loud. I didn't really. I think the way you learn this kind of thing, the same way we teach it online here in the channel, is by doing stuff. It's simply by doing stuff. Not so much teaching about theory and not running slides.
Like my co-teacher that taught me C# using slides.
Yeah, see, I that's not what we did in my class. In my class, we booted Unity on the first class. We look at the UI. Like first class was boring. We introduced each other and then we booted Unity, looked at the UI a little bit, and showed some possibilities that we could do. And then second class, they had a project right away. They had to do a marble game with rigid body and physics.
I didn't get to do that. I just read slides and took like a 300 questionnaire C# quiz.
Oh boy, so we have real different experiences.
Yes, I
with
told
school.
you, experimental students.
Yeah, so I think it really just matters on what a teacher wants to teach you because I was not constrained anywhere.
He is.
Yeah, maybe he is in case
Maybe,
because
I
he's
think.
at a public school or something. But
I mean, he's a great coder. He does 3D stuff too, and he's really great. But it's just being taught on slides where you don't really touch the engine at all. It's really takes the fun out of things.
yeah, exactly, and I think you need to practice. You need to be put in an environment because this kind of teaching, this kind of learning is not something that you can teach through slides because it's not enough.
No, sometimes students learn differently, right? There's visual, there's hearing, there's reading. I learn more visual when people like show me literally how to do things.
But see, that's the thing though. You have to learn by yourself because if you expect to go to those kind of school and have it teach to you, like have everything teach you, that's you're going to the wrong place because a lot of work is done on your own.
That's what I did. That's why I have my portfolio now. I work
Okay,
on my
well
own.
that's you. That's you. For
Yep.
the other people that want to go there, if they expect to be teached everything they need to like make a game, they're gonna be teach the basis and they have to develop on their own. They have to go push on their own.
Yeah.
Else there's no way for them to just even stay in the class in some cases.
Well, yeah, they're not going to learn everything in school. Like most of the times when you get out of your class, you have this little time, maybe sit on your own desktop if you have a laptop or anything and research. Because the teachers will teach you the basis, the rest is up to you.
And that's exactly why I believe that in teaching you have to transfer a passion, transfer some kind of motivation to do something and not necessarily transfer the theory. Because the people that did transfer theory to me, I mean, I forgot about animation, I forgot about rigging, I forgot about all those things that they made me take notes for and they forced me to take notes. If you have to take those notes, you're eventually going to forget about it.
Well, high school sucks in where I came because students are crazy. They just smoke weed every day.
Alright, that's
Outside.
again, that's off topic, but no, high school sucks because I guess they force you to learn something and they use a very boring kind of method. Maybe sometime high school is cool. Like in my religion class, that was cool. I don't remember so much about Jesus, but I know he did stuff and I watched a 6-hour movie on it.
Man.
But that was some cool class because the guy, he transferred something else than just theory, I guess.
You need to attend school in the US.
I don't need to attend school anymore and I don't.
Those kids are
I'm
crazy.
not ever gonna attend school.
No?
Stop being so judging, no?
I'm not. I'm just saying. Like, those crazy students in high school are just crazy. Well, they're high school. What do you expect?
I was crazy too. You were probably crazy as well.
I didn't. Well,
Okay, nice. Off topic, not off topic, but we're gonna move on to the very last little topic, and it's about self-teaching. Do you believe that you could be where you are right now, just doing self-teaching? Just looking up videos on YouTube, just looking up videos on Udemy, on whatever courses online you want to attend. Well, maybe not online courses, but like even with free material. Could you get through the whole learning process where you are right now using free material?
80% yes, 20% no.
What's the 20% for?
20% is because if I wasn't, like, if I didn't attend the school that I attended, I wouldn't know ZBrush or anything else, especially because I have no clue where I'm gonna start at anyway.
Okay, so if you had a clue, if you had a roadmap on what to do to get from point A to point B, which is like B would be the video games, like having a full video game, would you think that you'd be able to pick up everything online for free? I can see the confusion right now.
Shut up.
Let the record show there is confusion.
No. I mean, I would get to it, but not. Of course, I have to pay for courses online to the people will teach you basic things. They're intermediate, but if you really want to learn things, you have to pay for some courses or at least some people to like teach you one-on-one, right?
Right, the whole having a tutor thing is always...
Maybe not a tutor, or at least in Udemy or something.
That's some kind of tutor.
Well, yeah, but you pay for the course, right?
Yeah, so they get it monetary. I believe that you could pick up everything online, actually.
You can. Literally, yeah.
You could literally pick up everything online for free. I'm one of those believers, but I don't think that everybody can do it, including myself. I don't think I could have done it myself, pick up everything. Like, it's easy to bash on those courses. It's easy. Now that I've been through it, I can easily say that everything I learned there is nothing new. It's nothing you can't find online. Yeah. You can even find maybe some better courses out there taught by somebody through a video. And I'm not mentioning myself here. I kind of suck at doing those courses. But I believe that you could find better resources online.
Yeah, definitely.
But not everybody is fit for that because we sometimes need to change the environment. The only reason my course was, I'm going to say successful and I managed to graduate without any problem is because I was thrown away from my parents' house back then. I was 17 and I had to move to the city by myself. So a whole new environment, no distraction, no family, no friends, never any friends. In fact, I didn't make any friends until the third term when I start speaking to my classmates, my 5 remaining classmates.
You actually speak to them? I didn't.
No, well, they spoke to me, so eventually I replied, so we became friends there. So, kind of a lone wolf for a while, but, you know, I needed that change of environment to learn. So I believe that the course did help me quite a lot there, and I don't think I'd be able to pick it up on my own at my parents' house, simply because I would have been distracted by back then it was World of Warcraft and League of Legends, so
yeah,
they would have ate all my whole time, like they would have ate my whole life,
yeah.
Which they still kind of did, but
still does. He plays so much freaking games.
It's not World of Warcraft anymore, though. It's not League of Legends anymore.
Is that battle thing, PUBG thing?
Hey, yo, this is only fun for a little while, you know.
And then there's Overwatch, where you just randomly yell French words.
I speak French, so I yell French words. Yes.
See, that's the thing. I don't understand French, so I have to deal with that.
Nobody really cares about that point. Right, so I think we're gonna wrap things up. That was our experience with college. That's it? I would do it again.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be catching you later, maybe with another conversation, depending on how this one goes. Probably not, because it's weird and awkward.